All right, guys, we're back. Dynamic Man Podcast, episode 66 Social Class Killing Your Game. It's going to be a good one today, guys. Good one today. Just posting, and we're going to get going with this. Um, all right, little housekeeping thing. I'm probably going to make these officially 10:45. My only concern is I don't want it to I don't want to be late and have it then not be at 10:45. But at this point, you guys can pretty much predict this is going to be at 10:45. So I'm going to put it down there, 10:45. I'm going to have in my calendar like it's 10:30. That way, everything's all set. So I want to talk today about social class game. This is an important topic. It's an important topic because, look, we have hit this point where the red pill is basically becoming the blue pill. And we made comments about this, me and my little circles in the manosphere. We made comments about this not 10 years ago, but suffice to say 8 years ago. We started to point out the limitations of the red pill. And even how the red pill is kind of like a contradictory moniker, because in the Matrix movies, right? Morpheus was actually the red pill was a trap. Take the red pill, the whole thing was another setup, basically. And I think that has started to become a reality now for many guys. I see so much ubiquitous red pill slop floating around the internet. It's become mainstream. It's become mainstream, but it's become like a low IQ kind of mainstream. Okay, where a lot of guys just throw terms around, and they throw, and it's all like resentment politics. It's all women have no value after they're 25. Really, they're only valuable when they're 20, and they need to be hot and fertile. And it's like no one disputes that those are valuable things, right, in a woman, but there's just not a lot of women aren't being looked at as a whole. And I'm not just here talking about little moral lecture here. What I mean is that it doesn't actually describe reality. And so this goes to one of these big red pill myths with which Cersei is so eloquently depicting. And then the billionaire will marry this hot waitress, la 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 la. And I commented on this. Red pill ignores class because it's precisely the variable that keeps most guys from getting access to the kind of women they want. An ideology for the underclass. I genuinely believe that. I actually think that the red pill is becoming underclass coded. It's the kind of thing that a guy who understands women is going to have a basic understanding of it, but is not going to be living his life based on it. But the guy in the underclass, it's all he thinks about. That's all he thinks about. That meme that a billionaire would prefer to have a 20-year-old waitress than have some woman in his peer group is totally fucking retarded. It's totally fucking retarded. There's not even a basis to engage with this seriously. All right. This is not about age, because I think you can find equal scenarios where wealthy older man is with a woman more or less in his age bracket, and equal examples of when a man is dating a woman substantially younger. That's a separate conversation. The woman who's substantially younger may not be established in the way that he is, but she is not a nobody. She's not a nobody. Okay? She's mingling in the same circles. She might be a model. She might not be a big name model even, but she's mingling in the same circles as him. They have been put in access with each other. I'm going to tell you what wealthy guys do Wealthy, powerful guys definitely would consider your local waitress, but they're gonna seduce her, and then they're gonna fuck her, and then they're gonna leave her. The aristocracy has done this since the beginning of time. If you read, like, I'm a big fan of romantic literature. I say romantic, not like smut novels. I mean like sophisticated 19th century literature, right? I've talked about Dostoevsky before. Um, Hardly the only one, right? Hardly the only one. Um, you know, whether it's English literature, French literature. Okay. I haven't done a lot of German. I would like to do some German. Point is this: the aristocracy, as it's always depicted, you always have some cads, some young officers, right? Whatever, in the cavalry, in the guards, right? Which was like the kind of flashy unit that you could be a part of. And they're always, seducing some serf or seducing some servant. They're not marrying her. They're not committing to her. They're banging her. That's what they're doing. They're banging her and then they're leaving her. Okay. So let's distinguish here for a second whether, what makes a man want to sleep with a woman and what makes a man want to commit to a woman. Men commit to women, yes, based on their individual qualities, no question about that. But part of their individual qualities is whether or not they're able to mingle in the same circles in class. If they can't do that, they're not going to be a part of it. Two points to this. The first part is breeding, not knowing the etiquette, not knowing the way things operate. If a woman is grown up in poverty, completely removed from, upper class life, she's going to have a really hard time fitting in, even if she's really pretty. She's going to talk differently. Okay. And it's going to be embarrassing for the guy to want to be seen with her. Well, he'll happily fuck her on the side. Maybe he might like to do some gutter game with her, but he's not going to want to take her around his circle because they're going to be like, you just picked up some white trash. That's what they're going to say. Okay. That's what they're going to say. Now, do some guys buck this trend because they don't care? Because the pussy good, the girl knows how to fuck and it's a good time. Absolutely, it happens. Sometimes they do make him a girlfriend. Rarely do they ever make him a wife. Okay. And even making him a girlfriend is just very rare. It's not a common thing. These are side pieces for the guys. The other part, though, and this is something no one likes to talk about, but class and IQ are highly correlated. So you get a like, there's always exceptions, right? But typically you get a girl from a different class and she's just not going to be able to, even if she can look the part, she's not going to be able to talk the part. She's not going to be able to engage in the same way. I've dated girls like this before. They're attractive girls. They weren't dumb, but they were like average IQ. Don't fit in. Just don't fit in with the circles. Okay? They don't fit in with the circles. And I'm not like the top tier. Okay? I'm not the top tier of class. There's a whole nother level. There's a whole nother world to super elite experience. I did brush up against some of those people at Penn, Ivy League school, but even in there, they stayed in their own circles because they're a different tier. I knew a few people, I was friends with a few of them, but for the most part, they stayed in their own little world. People who understand what it's like to vacation in Saint-Tropez and to have like 4 different passports. All right. So class is the gateway to getting women that you're going to marry. If you're not dating in the class that you want to marry, you're not going to find wife material women for you. Now, maybe you're an outlier and you don't care, but I think if you say you don't care, like Fox, who's actually ironically not here, even though we're going to be showing his thing here, um, he's like, "I'm talking about my class and my parents' class. We're comparing it to her parents instead of hers. Since she's in uni, try not to be contrarian. I don't understand this. Men marry down all the time, don't we? Waitresses are nice, or am I just being weird? If I break the mold and marry a girl from a poor class, who is it supposed to be bad for? Me, her, or both? It's usually bad for both of you. It's bad for her because she feels demeaned in the situation, and it's bad for you because it can be embarrassing. Now, look, there's exceptions. If a woman is very intelligent and sheds her class signifiers, so maybe she's just not aware of some etiquette, but she can learn it, then she can move up in the class. That happens. Doesn't happen a lot. Doesn't happen a lot because you rarely have a woman with the charm, in the brains, in the looks, who just came from a bad background who can pull it off. These things are all highly correlated with being in a higher class. Okay, just realistically speaking. Now, if you're in if you meet a waitress in a certain context, like she's not like a full-time waitress, she's a young girl, and you're in like a nice area or something like that, maybe it's around a university. There can be some early stage of life stuff where a woman might do a job like that, but what I'm trying to emphasize here, I'm not trying to disparage on waitresses either, right? But like what I'm trying to say is that this class stuff is very, very real. And if you go and you try to pick up your average waitress, she's not going to be in the same class as you. Now, maybe at a high-end restaurant, maybe at a high-end restaurant, she's somebody because she knows the etiquette there. She could maybe that's an opportunity. But you go to your local diner, you're not getting that. You're not going to get it. Okay. And I'm not saying to be condescending, it just is a reality. And so a lot of this like red pill stuff where they're saying like, oh, like that woman has more value than a woman who's got, a degree. They're conflating. Like that's not observably true. It's not observably true. Not because the man who goes after the college girl, the girl who went to a good school, he's not marrying her because he cares about her education. Okay? That's where guys are getting mixed up. They're like, "Well, men don't care about a woman's education." They don't care about the education. They do care about what the education signifies about her. This may change in the future because colleges are cooked, but they still remained the only value I think that they have is as a networking incubator and on the high end as a class signifier. That's the reason that people wanted to go to them. Okay, yeah, is to get jobs, to really try to move up in the class. Of course, you can't do that. The elite will always segregate themselves out one way or another, and the masses are left holding the bag with whatever institution they overpaid for, whatever brand they overpaid for, right? Chasing the trend. But the bottom line is, yes, a man is not all about, I'm like, "Oh, she's got a chemistry degree. That's why I wanted to marry her." Probably not. But the fact that she had a chemistry degree from a good school or just went to the good school maybe is an indicator that she's a smart girl from a good background, good family, and she can mingle, you can build something with her. It's a eugenic decision. So, you guys got to understand these distinctions. This stuff here is cope. The billionaire with the waitress is just mad cope. And when guys say this kind of stuff, all they're saying is that they are not at a higher social class. They're telling on themselves. Okay? All right, guys. I got to go. I got client calls. I love you. Bob Gloss, I totally agree with this. The cultural and social capital should be at a similar level to maintain harmony. Absolutely, absolutely. And it's one thing to dip one level down pull up some like talent from one level down. Going more than one level down is just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. It's a fairy tale. That's what it is. All right, guys. I'll see you next show Monday. COVID Cabal, however, is on Sunday, 2 p.m. as usual. I love you. I will see you then. Thank you. Thanks for coming on.